Morning, everyone. Got some stuff to do today. I have to clean out the bed of this truck. Normally we'd be going to church, but everybody except for me in my house is passing the flu bug around. So I got to clean out the truck from a job I did yesterday. So I got to hang this door in the chicken coop. Super Bowl Sunday, and we don't get any reception out here despite this house being 9 miles up in the air. I've got an internal antenna that mounts inside the attic, but we have foiled. There's a name for it. Basically, the OSB sheathing or decking they put on the roof has a layer of aluminum on it. It's supposed to help with heat. The climate transfer into your house. However, it also acts like you're in one big elevator, so cell phone reception and TV signal is almost little to nil. So I've got that mounted in the attic, and since it's not doing any good, I'm going to drag it up on top of the roof. So I got to drill a hole in the eave to pull the cable out and mount that on there. So my plan is to unhook the job site trailer from the truck. I've also got to fix this chair from our kitchen. It's constantly falling apart. One of these legs keeps coming out. I need to nail that in. We got that to do. Clean the truck. Fix this. Actually, I'll fix this, and I'll clean the truck. And we'll put the door on the chicken coop, and then we'll go mount the antenna on the attic. So, nice little punch list of things to do today. Like I said in the beginning, this is just kind of walking you through all my to-dos. When I'm done working for everybody else is when I get a chance to fix all the stuff that's broken around my own house. So what I'm going to do with this chair is I'll pull this leg. Actually, it's this part right here that keeps popping out, and there's a nail in there. So my little toddler uses this as a step. I'm afraid he's going to get his foot hung on that. So I'm going to put some wood glue in there and push it in, and then take a nail and drive it in sideways to hold it into this spindle. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to work on the truck. So we'll kind of see how things go. Alright, so I got the chair fixed. All I did is just drove an 18 gauge finishing nail, a couple of them sideways into that spindle after I glued it. This is a stack of cedar 2x4s that I pulled off of a deck that I demoed quite a while back. So my thought is to use this inside there. Has kind of a slat look. I'm probably going to put a piece of OSB about 4 foot up and then finish it out with this, just because I got too much to do today to do it all in this. And this is just a bunch of junk. This is a hidden area that I have. That's one of those 10 by 17 carports from Home Depot. I use it as a paint booth, but right now I just threw those in there. And that's a frame for a 1969 Ford F100 Custom. There's a 300 straight 6 underneath that piece of plastic. So, a lot of junk. I'll get to it eventually. But like I said, this is all fenced off, so nobody can see this. So I'm going to dig through this, and I also have some grading work to do on my tractor today. So all kinds of fun. So I got the wood up here. I'm going to use these 2x6s I got left over from a job yesterday. I've got my big air compressor here, so I don't have to worry about wearing my job site one out. The wood, Matilda, most of the tools I need. I have a rooster that migrated over here. Well, this is where it's going. I'm going to tear this chicken wire out. And I will stand a 2x6 up here, tie it into that. And then I'll put another one there, that way I've got something to tie the door to. I need to put another light in here. First, I'm going to get everything out of here, make it a little cleaner, that way I've got some room to work. I'll take that off. So 36 inches, you want to give yourself at least a 1/4 inch for play. So we'll mark it at 36. There's a mark. Actually 36 1/4. I can take that out when I measure, when I cut it. So there's my 36. And to get the bottom of my base, so on the wall, and well, actually you need to count for your ribs, because as you look down this wall, you'll see there's about almost an inch difference between this rib and the base. Your board's going to hit against this, so I'll need to account for that. We'll just take off an inch. Looks like we're right at, we'll call it 38 1/2. It's about 38 3/4. Remember, I need a 1/4 inch for the door, so we'll say 38 1/2. 38 1/2. So what I'm going to do is build a frame that's going to set in here. And what I'm going to do is notch these 2x6s out. That way they mount like that. So I'll notch these. I'll basically cut there and there, that way it slides up in there, and then I'll nail it from this outside edge. So let me go ahead and make one 38 1/4. Other measurement I'll need, so I've got one for this side that's 112. I'll need one for this side, so I'll just get a plumb bob's probably the best thing to use, and measure up from the rafter down to my mark on the floor and figure out what that is. And you don't want to go to the bottom of the rafter, because remember, you got to tie in up here, so you want to go somewhere up in this area, and you'll have to cut it at an angle in order to match, that way you don't push the tin up. So let me get to working on that, and then I'll come back when I get it ready to shove in here. Alright, so I got the frame installed. I'll kind of show you. I got to get a tripod so you guys can kind of see this as I'm going. Way up to there, and like I said, I just notched it out. And you drive your nails in this direction. Do the same thing with these 2x6s. Notched it out. And then this one was the one I told you I had to splice. There's a 16-inch piece, and then I just spliced to the back. So I don't need to put these on 16 centers because I'm using 2x4s for my wall, which is more than adequate. This is a 30-inch span, so that I don't need another stud there. The door does shut. This 2x6 is bowed, but I'm going to attempt to take some of that out when I put those 2x6s in. It was bowed before I ever installed it, but I'll put a couple of those in and spread it out. And I still got to put a door stop in, which is just going to be probably a 2x4, possibly right up through here, where the door has something to catch against. And then I'll put a little Small header in. It doesn't need an actual header because this isn't structural at all. It's for a chicken coop, so it's not that big a deal. Alright, so all I'm going to do with these, I'm going to start with this treated deck board. Put it in like that and level it, and I'm just going to keep on going all the way up. I've got a bunch of them here already cut. I'll come back when I get them in. Son of a... Maybe you can see that or not. I was getting done and I threw my 4-foot level into the bed of my truck and it skimmed off that black toolbox and busted out my back glass. And I just replaced that right before Christmas. Lovely. Anyway, that's part of it. Take a day off and have to spend money on stuff you broke. So I got this done. I put the slats on, mounted the door. I just use chicken wire at the top instead of cutting those sideways. That'll give it some ventilation in there. I don't want to close that off too much, especially when it gets hot in the summer. So I put a 2x4 here as a stop. I've got a bunch of door handles, I just can't find them, so this is my temporary. I got it all mounted. She's dead. So, 2 projects down, got the chair done. And yeah, I tried to keep this a little ventilated. The chickens I used to have would go Brody, so they would stay on the roost all day. They'd get up to eat and drink, and then they'd come right back. So I need to keep some air circulating in here. That's why I don't close it totally off. I'll probably have to put a fan or something in there. So that project's done. Now I am cleaning out the bed of my truck. And unfortunately, I've got to bust the rest of the glass out and use some plastic to cover it up because it's going to be a few weeks before I can get that replaced. Part of it, I guess.